Okay, I got a couple of decks I want to play today. Mainly, oh shoot, you know what? In my infinite wisdom, forgot to set them up in Stream Decker. One second. One. Cool. Alrighty then. So today I wanted to play someone who is probably a better Brewers version of the Time Vault deck that I was going for. Somebody went and made a much better version that seemed much more solid in the form of Infinite Scepter. It was posted on MTGGoldfish. And I'm really excited to play it because it's basically an all-out version of just trying to go infinite with Magistrate Scepter, then winning the game with Karn or Herald of Anguish. Much better than whatever strategy I was attempting to do with it. So, I am going to play some games with Infinite Scepter. Alright, yes, I would love to play first. Make sure that this is set properly. Alright, this looks like a pretty sweet hand. We're going to keep this hand. None of the combo pieces, of course, but some Fatal Pushes and an Opt seem pretty decent. I think I'm going to start with a Watery Grave tapped and pass the turn. Also, this beer is like candy, and I could drink 1,000 of them. I had like 3 or 4 of them today at lunch. And, yeah, they're delicious. Ooh, Pentad Prism. Well, I kind of want to play a Pentad Prism. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Steam Vents. Untapped. Is this Storm? Oh, Thing in the Ice. Okay. Well, that's pretty good, because this turn we'll be able to shoot it and resolve a Karn. Whir of Invention. That seems fun. We'll play Polluted Delta. Crack Polluted Delta. Get an island. And play Karn. Plus Karn. Revealing Thirst for Knowledge and Creeping Tar Pit. When it gives us Creeping Tar Pit. So let us Fatal Push that Thing in the Ice. And pass the turn. Opponent Surgical's Fatal Push. Ooh, well, that's a little unfortunate. Because we had one in our hand, but they get a good look at our deck, which is also unfortunate. I really like Pentad Prism in this deck, as it gives you an improvised target for Whir, as well as an instant awesome ramp spell. Opponent Thought Scours themselves, mills 2 opts. Well, we might play it again in a little bit. I'm excited because I've got 2 new decks to play tonight. I'm going to play this version of the Time Vault deck, and I'm going to play a similar... or I'm going to play an Enduring Ideal deck tonight. We'll see if we can squeeze a game or 2 of Battle of Wits in. Also, hey Phoenix, how's it going? Okay, so if we make a Construct, we can whir for 3. Let me double check the list again real fast. So we have Pentad Prism, Surge Known, and Magistrate Scepter, along with a Phyrexian Metamorph and Herald of Anguish. Okay, so... Oh, do we have any more removal? Oh no, I actually started streaming pretty recently tonight. It's been pretty late. I had some things I had to do today. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Joess, with Twitch Prime. I greatly appreciate your support. You're a wonderful human being. And that is your 2nd month in a row. I think your 3rd total month ever. So much appreciated. Just checking for a Whir target here real fast. We don't have any other removal. So this is going to be a little interesting. We are going to plus Karn again. Energy Chamber under Karn. So let's play Drowned Catacomb and pass the turn. All right. So now I just finished my last Keto's Brewing Coffee Cream Ale. These things taste like chocolate oatmeal, and they are delicious. I had a 6-pack of them between yesterday and today. Because they're very light alcohol content, and they taste so damn good. But as a backup, I have a bunch of vodka and orange soda. He's going for the flip. Do we have a core tapper we can block with? I think we do. Whoa, we don't have any core tappers? If he can flip here, this is going to be pretty bad. Surgical on Fatal Push was really good because we were holding a second one. Opponent Faithless Looting. Well, hopefully no gut shot here. And no bridges. Yeah, this is the MTGGoldfish list. I might tweak it, depending. We'll see. Opponent Faithless Looting enters the exile zone. He does have a gut shot. And we cannot whir into anything that matters. So he will be able to attack and kill Karn. We can whir for 2, which doesn't get us anything. So let's opt Island to the bottom. There's a Scepter. Opponent gets a Phoenix. Kills Karn, hits us for 3. If we untap, we draw Thirst for Knowledge. Well, let's... Play... I think we play Magistrate Scepter this turn. So let's play Magistrate Scepter this turn. Play Creeping Tar Pit. Pass the turn. And I think on our upkeep, we're going to have to whir. That is if we're not dead. We could totally be dead here. Opponent bolts our face. If they have another bolt, we're donezo. Yeah, we might have to make some tweaks to this list. I really like the concept, but I think it needs a little work. Yeah, opponent just was slow rolling the other bolt. Okay. Let's see what we got in the sideboard for this. We have Unmoored Ego and Cast Down. This is a very strange sideboard plan. Or, yeah, 2 gut shots would have done it too. So, I think we want Cast Down for the Thing is in the Ice. And Unmoored Ego seems actually okay here. They don't have a lot of threats, so if we resolve one and name Thing in the Ice and we name Arclight Phoenix, but probably in the opposite order, we'll be in a good place. I don't know if we want Phyrexian Scriptures. It seems really, really slow against this deck. We might want Lux Cannon. They don't necessarily have a lot of permanents. We could just blow up all their permanents. I mean, that would be really fun. But I think we're going to cut Power Conduit, I think, is our worst charge counter proliferator, as well as Opt and probably a Metamorph. Try it like this. Yes, I did see the Kaya Extraction deck. I really want to play that deck. I'm looking at acquiring a few of the cards. My yearly bonus for work just came through, so I'm looking at probably doing that and getting some of the cards that way. It is coming. I do want to play it. That is one of the decks I'm going to play. It's just, I'm sorry it's been so long in the making. We're going to keep this hand. But I thank you. I appreciate you keeping an eye out for decks that have my name on them. Because that is one that I do want to play. Also, welcome to the stream, Oz. Good to see you. Glad you could join us. Sorry I started so late today. I got to meet up with a colleague I hadn't seen for months, and it was good to sync up again. And it ended up running just a little longer than I thought it would, but it was a good time. I might coming up, I may actually do a non-Magic stream with him. Just so that, yeah, this is actually a professor of mine. We may actually get together and do some gaming because I've heard that he's pretty hysterical. I think it would be a ton of fun. No, I did not kiss him. I do have a girlfriend. I don't. Not interested. Although, I mean, he makes pretty good money. I imagine, at least. Well, it plays a Thing in the Ice. Well, I think we have to do that. That's a little odd. Having a girlfriend doesn't mean you can't kiss guys. That is exactly what it means when your girlfriend is like my girlfriend. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and fire off this Cast Down here. We're going to wait one turn on this Magistrate Scepter. We want to do this while they don't have Counterspell mana up, and if they waste a Surgical Extraction on this Cast Down, they're only going to hit one other Cast Down. Opponent abrades Energy Chamber. Well, we opt. We find a thirst. I'm going to bottom thirst. Creeping Tar Pit. Okay, opponent braids the energy chamber. That's good. It looks like they're going to spend their whole turn on that. Maybe a cantrip here. Faithless Looting. Hopefully it's not like Phoenix Gut Shot, because that would be really bad for us. Alright, cool. We get a Herald of Anguish. So let's play a Creeping Tar Pit and a Magistrate's Scepter. Pass the turn. Next turn we can whir for a... I forgot what this card even does. Next turn we can whir for another energy chamber of some kind. Opponent plays a Crackling Drake. We untap, we draw energy chamber. That's actually super good. So play energy chamber, then we can whir for energy chamber. I, for some reason, thought this had the Massacre Worm text on it. Like, all creatures get -2/-2, but I think I was thinking of Inner Demon. Opponent Faithless Lootings, then Thought Scours. Plays a Scalding Tarn, cracks Scalding Tarn. I think they're going to flashback looting here. We could be in a little bit of trouble. That is a 10-power Drake. Oh, they're going to have a Phoenix, too. All right. Here comes the bird. Opponent gets in for 13. Well, let's go ahead and whir now. Hoping for just a little bit of Teamer Battle Rage. Oh, man. Get an energy chamber. This might be a little too late. Because I think unless we draw a Surge node or a way to play and activate it, we're not going to be able to take an extra turn. Which is unfortunately what we need to survive, I think. Play Drowned Catacomb. Okay, well we can kill the Phoenix and block the Crackling Drake. And our opponent discards a card, which is a good thing out of this deal. Opponent discards an opt. Unless he discards a Phoenix. Yes, that would be really bad. Opponent gonna opt. Well, hopefully he doesn't have 2 lightning bolts to answer this Herald. Opts again. Lightning Axe. Yeah, that's gonna do it. We can sack a energy chamber to kill the Phoenix, but it's gonna come right back. And we'll scoop it up. We got really close. But I'm going to play one more with this deck. And then I'm going to try making some adjustments if I feel they're necessary. Oz says I made it to top 100 Mythic on Arena Construct today. Yeah, man, congratulations. That's wonderful. Yeah, I think a one-of bridge, and I think a core tapper are probably in the mix here. I like core tapper more than I like power conduit. Let's see. Opponent is Arid Mesa into Hallowed Fountain. Serum Visions looks like Jeskai Control. Which, if we resolve a Karn or a Magistrate Scepter, we should be able to eventually win the game. Okay, so we draw an opt. Let's play Darkslick Shores, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Polluted Delta. Does this say search for Azcanta, I wonder? Steam Vents tapped on their own turn, then Serum Visions. Okay. Well, we'll get down this Pentad Prism. Having extra mana versus a control deck like this will be really nice. But it puts one card on the bottom, one card on the top. So let's opt. Ooh. Pentad Prism and Energy Chamber. I'm going to keep the Energy Chamber. Pass the turn. We untap, we draw. Fatal Push. Shock in Watery Grave, and let's play Pentad Prism. I think what we're going to do is actually play this Energy Chamber. So next turn we can start putting counters on this Pentad Prism. We can actually Phyrexian Metamorph or Magistrate Scepter next turn if our opponent doesn't leave up counter mana. Storm Count 2. Opponent, ooh, search for Azcanta. And a Serum Visions. Alright, very exciting, very exciting. Opponent is playing Tap Out Control right now. So we untap, Energy Chamber, put a charge counter on Pentad Prism. We draw, Fatal Push. Alright, let's play a Phyrexian Metamorph. Oh, whoops. I have to pay the life cost first. On Energy Chamber here. Pass the turn. I actually do not know. I can't remember if I bought the Smash Pass or not. So, charge counter on Pentad Prism, charge counter on Pentad Prism. We draw a Polluted Delta, which is a good draw. Crack Polluted Delta. Get a Swamp. Play Karn. This should draw a counterspell. Remands the Karn. All right. Opponent cracks Flooded Strand. Search for Azcanta. Mills a Colonnade, transformed Azcanta. Plays a Flooded Strand. Passes turn. Well, keep putting charge counters on Pentad Prism. This feels really good. I don't know if it's good versus our opponent's deck, but it feels really good. Play Polluted Delta. Crack Polluted Delta. Opponent cracks a Flooded Strand. In response, are we getting stifled? Get an island. Okay. So let's play Karn. Opponent activates... Oh no, Cryptic. Counter draw. Sure. Blue, blue, black. Cast Magistrate Scepter. Magistrate Scepter resolves. That's the important spell there. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays a Sulphur Falls and passes. Charge counter on Scepter. Charge counter on Scepter. We draw an opt. Cast opt. Whir of Invention. It's kind of unfortunate Maybe I should have waited. We'll keep Whir. We can cast the Herald. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Making our opponent discard every turn feels pretty good. Another Cryptic, countering it and bouncing the Scepter would be really bad, but there's nothing we can do about that. Opponent lets it resolve. Paths it, sure. We'll get an island. We're going to activate as Kanta. Activates as Kanta, the Sunken Ruin. Finds a Lightning Helix. Okay, opponent's turn. Has to find Teferi and tuck Scepter. Yeah, that would be really annoying. Nice! Number 96 Mythic. Yeah, man. That's awesome. That's better than I have ever done, which, I mean, I haven't focused on it, but still, better than I've ever done. Put 2 charge counters on Magistrate Scepter. Opponent's probably going to try and bounce it. Snapcaster for Cryptic. Okay, I've got a plan. Opponent is going to Cryptic Command. Probably to bounce and draw. So unless they have a Dispel, we should actually... We're going to Whir for a Surge Node and take an extra turn in response. Okay, return target permanent to its owner's hand. So we Whir for 2. We'll take Surge Node. Activate Surge Node. Take an extra turn. Push Snappy. Okay, opponent bounces it. No charge counters on anything. We draw Power Conduit. Charge counter on Pentad Prism. Charge counter on Pentad Prism. Draw Thirst for Knowledge. Play Scepter. And pass, I think. Well, that felt pretty good. Unfortunately, we couldn't rebuild immediately. Monogreen was your own brew. Full Explore package and Harpooner. Still, feels good. Oh, so it's like big mono green. I think I've seen a version of this list. I think you sent it to me at one point. A version of it. Yeah. I really liked it. So I'm really glad. Like, it's good. It's really good when you do well with your own brew, and it's really good when you do well. But like, when you get to some of the highest level of success in Arena, especially with your own brew, it's really good. I'm very proud. I know somebody that made it to Mythic on his own brew. That's awesome. Hey, he scoops. We beat Control with the combo. So let's do Lux Cannon, because extra counters on Lux Cannon feel real good. Let's bring in some We'll bring in Negate, an Unmoored Ego. Go down some number of Fatal Push. Oh, the Golgari Brew. That's the one that you sent me. We're going to go down a Power Conduit and probably a Herald, I think. Maybe an Opt. We'll cut an Opt. Try it like this. Opponent just couldn't beat the amount of turns we were about to take. No untapped lands. We have a Surge Node, we have Negate, we have Whir. I'm going to go ahead and keep. I am too. Stirrings is just so strong in a deck that's so full of colorless things. Like, opponent shocks in Steam Vents for Serum Visions. We untap, we draw basic land, please, or Watery Grave. That'd make this whole hand worth it. Magistrate's Scepter. Alright, we'll start Tar Pit. Pass the turn. Kind of playing with a Sphere of Resistance right now. All of our lands are coming in tapped, which is pretty unfortunate. But I think this mana base has some budget considerations, so I'm not going to complain too much. We are playing the MTGGoldfish list right as originally intended for the instant deck tech they did. Opponent plays Arid Mesa. We untap, we draw Watery Grave. Okay, well let's play Surge Node. Play Drowned Catacomb, pass the turn. Next turn, if we have to shock in Watery Grave, that'll be alright. Opponent fetches up a Steam Vents tapped. Plays Colonnade and passes. We draw Island. So play an Island, pass the turn. We'll just hold up Negate. Should be alright. But it plays a Glacial Fortress. And search for his Kanto. Do we try and negate search? I don't... No, I don't think so. Good confirmation. Thank you, Phoenix. Say nay. Oh, as in negate it? Oh, dang it. I misunderstood. I was like, no, I don't think I need to negate that. Although I guess I should have, because it would have cleared the way for Karn. We draw Metamorph. So play Catacomb. We'll run out Karn. Probably into a negate or a mana leak. Well, plus Karn. I was going to minus, but I feel our opponent would have bolted it. 2 lands. Opponent gives us the Polluted Delta, decides the Creeping Tar Pit is too scary. Jeskai without a counter. I know, right? Opponent mills a Hallowed Fountain. Plays a Plains. White, white, white. White, white, blue. Detention Sphere? Red? Nahiri. Interesting. Well, we didn't have the negate for the Nahiri. Opponent pluses Nahiri. We untap, we draw. This could be the legendary Jeskai Nahiri. We draw. What do we draw? Whir of Invention. Okay, so let's play Polluted Delta, play Magistrate Scepter, make a Construct, and pass the turn. Opponent bolts the Construct. Sounds good. We are very quickly going to attempt to take infinite turns with this Magistrate Scepter. Wish me luck. I'm going to need it. Opponent mills a path. Thank you, Oz. I appreciate it. Goes for the Through the Breach. Well, we cannot allow that to resolve. So unfortunately, we will not be able to Surge Node here. Opponent pitches a something to Nahiri, a remand. We untap, we draw another Scepter. So we can Metamorph and we can Whir. If we... So we can activate Surge Node. We can only get up to 2 counters onto Karn. Or onto Magistrate Scepter. Plus Karn. We reveal Lux Cannon and Karn. Play Watery Grave, untapped. You know what? We're going to metamorph this Surge Node, actually. Pass the turn, leave up Whir. Opponent transforms, search for Iskanto. Oh shoot, I left myself dead to Emrakul, didn't I? Yep. Alright, big mistake. There's nothing we can whir for. Alright. Alright. I forgot. Emrakul does 15 damage. No, this version of the list is not running bridge. This is the list exactly as MTGGoldfish posted. So I will probably make adjustments after this game, because that's 2 games in a row where it's like, if we could whir for bridge, we would just win. Alright. This hand's okay. We'll keep. We'll try and resolve an Unmoored Ego on Emrakul. To be frank, I don't think you can do better than We're Prison. Probably not. We'll start Tar Pit, pass the turn. You aren't hard casting Emrakul before you get the second ego, or win. But they have two different ways to get Emrakul into play. They have Breach and Nahiri, which is the only reason why I'm like, we should get rid of the thing that actually kills us first. Alright, we untap, we draw Pentad Prism. Ooh, that's actually really good. Play Darkslick Shores. Play Pentad Prism. Opponent plays a Sulphur Falls. We untap, we draw Surge Node. Play Polluted Delta, fetch an island. Play Surge Node. Pass the turn. Opponent opts. I tell you what, if Sphere of Resistance was a card that we could play, this deck I think would want it. Opponent plays a Sulphur Falls. I'm going to go ahead and whir here. Kind of actually just want to draw out a counterspell. Okay, opponent remands. We're cool with that. We untap. Draw a swamp. Play a swamp. We'll go ahead and unmoored ego our opponent. Name Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. They have one in hand. They have Ceremonious Rejection. Oh, Ceremonious Rejection Snapcaster actually really sucks. It looks like if we take Emrakul, their only other way out is Snapcaster Beats plus Lightning Bolt. Because Nahiri can't win the game for them. So if we don't die to damage, we don't die to anything here. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Flooded Strand. Cracks Flooded Strand. Plays an island. Okay. Surge Node at their end step. Put a counter on Prism. Extra mana is nice. Untap. Draw Creeping Tar Pit. Play Tar Pit. Pass the turn. Spicy Infinite Ego deck on Arena right now. I'd love to see a list. Are you like 1,000-year storming it? Because that's something I've been thinking about doing, is 1,000-year storming ego. Opponent plays a Flooded Strand. Honestly, we might win this game with Creeping Tar Pit beats. Surge Node onto Pentad Prism, because it doesn't actually change the amount of mana we have. We draw an Energy Chamber. Well, we'll play Energy Chamber. Opponent Ceremonious Rejection. Alright, you got it. Opponent cracks Flooded Strand. Finds, looks like plains. Or I mean an island, excuse me. Want to see you run Kaya Extraction? What am I missing? I'm missing a number of cards. I can check after this game if you'd like, but I think it's actually quite a few. Alright, we're for 3. Expecting this to get the Cryptic. All right, there's the Cryptic. We untap, we draw Tar Pit. Play Tar Pit. Play Magistrate Scepter. It resolves. Sweet. Omniscience, Invert, Invent, Clear the Mind, and Masterminds acquisition? Oh my god, that's awesome! Oh. That sounds like something I want to do. Opponent is going to Cryptic to bounce Scepter to our hand. Okay, there's nothing we can do about that, but our opponent is trying to leave up Snapcaster Ceremonious Rejection, so we can't just cast it again unless we draw another. Or negate. So, recast Magistrate Scepter. Opponent should Snapcaster for Ceremonious Rejection. There's the Snapcaster. Here comes the rejection. Okay, we negate rejection. Land Scepter. We could animate an attack with Tar Pit, but I don't think that's the play here. Rejectionception. Nice. I might be able to pick up another Surgical. We'll see. Opponent gets a Plains. Plays Nahiri. Gonna loot with Nahiri, pitching through the breach. Whoa, is Kaya $30 online? Oh, that's for 4 of them. She's... What the... Why is she $14? She was $5. What happened? What is she being run? Oh, a standard Esper Control is running her. That's what it is. Man, maybe I ought to be doing some drafts to see if I can pick up some of the cards. I should have picked her. Oh, wait. Wrong card. Counter on Scepter. Untap. We draw. Surge Node. Play Surge Node. Counter on Scepter. Counter on Scepter. Take an extra turn. Fire up Tar Pit. Attack our opponent. She's $14 a piece, so 4 of them would be like $60. We draw Watery Grave. Play Watery Grave. Untapped. Animate Tar Pit. Animate Tar Pit. Go to combat. Attack with all creatures our opponents face. I do really want to play that deck. We're basically going to move charge counters off of Pentad Prism onto Scepter here. And as long as we can animate an attack with at least 1 Creeping Tar Pit to get in, to kill our opponent, we should be fine. Worth noting that as long as we don't tap our artifacts main phase, Nahiri is literally no threat because there's no Emrakul's left. Okay, remove a charge counter. Charge counter on Magistrate Scepter. Remove a charge counter. Charge counter on Magistrate Scepter. Untap. Draw. Whir of Invention. Charge counter on Magistrate Scepter. Take an extra turn. Fire up a tar pit. Go to combat. Attack our opponent. Opponent bolts tar pit. Okay. So we were for an energy chamber. Okay. They kill tar pit. We untap. Charge counter on Scepter. Spellskite would be a good addition too. Fire up tar pit. Go to combat. Attack our opponent. Opponent settles us. Sure. Get a swamp. I guess we play Herald. No, we don't. We don't play Herald now. Pass the turn. If we play Herald, we have tapped artifacts on our opponent's turn, and that turns on Nahiri's ability. We don't have enough. We can't actually get to taking extra turns that turn either. Okay, so opponent ults Nahiri. Has to get a Snapcaster. Snapcaster's for probably a Cryptic to bounce. No worries, man. Cards are getting small. Lots of permanents on the board here. Okay, Snapcaster for Cryptic. We are doing cool things. We're playing MTGGoldfish, the Infinite Scepter deck. Welcome to the stream, Great Bone Daddy. Good to see you again. Joe West resubbed with Twitch Prime, and the new sub messages went off earlier. So, happy to see that those are working. Okay, opponent is going to bounce Magistrate Scepter. Sure. Cast a cantrip. They gotta be careful or they're just going to be dead to Herald of Anguish here. The opponent bounces Snapcaster. So they'll be able to snap bolt. Do we Surge Node anything? We'll Surge Node Pentad Prism. I wouldn't mind having at least one extra mana here. Wrath of the Rod. If you want to know the Wrath of the Rod, read the flavor text on Scepter of Dominance. And tell me it's not a euphemism. I dare you. If we animate Tarpet, opponent Snapcaster's Bolt. I guess that's what we have to do here. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm gonna have to try and grind him out here. Attack for 3. Opponent paths, sure. Okay. So I know nothing of the MTGO story and no idea where to start to learn it. I don't know what you're asking. Are there books or something for MTG? For MTG? Like, if you're talking about the old story, it was all in novels up until Shards of Alara, and there was a gap. And after that, it's all Uncharted Realms. Uncharted Realms being short stories that are published every week on the actual official MTG site. You don't really need to know any of the lore prior to the Uncharted Realms stuff. Play Node before Herald if I want a Herald. Good catch. Would recommend reading Uncharted Realms. A lot of the Uncharted Realms are actually really good. I really enjoyed the content. I think we Herald. I can't imagine that we don't. So play Node. Play Herald. Play Herald. H-A-R-O-L-D. Herald the Herald of Anguish. Yeah, all of the Uncharted Realms are available online on their official site. You can like get them printed, I suppose, if you'd like. They're all free. You don't have to pay anything to read any of them. It's worth noting, some of the novels are not canon anymore. Parts of Test of Metal are canon, and parts aren't. The story with Tezzeret, Jace, and Chandra, parts are canon and parts aren't canon. So that's really annoying to me. We are going to go ahead and kill this Snapcaster, sack our empty Surge node for it. Canon as in no longer officially part of the story. Like, if something is canon, it is true, it is part of the official accepted story. If something is not canon, then it is not part of the story. It is fan fiction, effectively. Put a charge counter on Pentad Prism. We draw Dark Slick Shores. Well, I guess at this point we try and resolve Scepter. No idea if this works. Probably doesn't. But it has negate. Alright, we're just going to hold this Dark Slick Shores. Pass the turn. Also, welcome new viewers to the stream. I'm Kano. We're a little bit tipsy, and right now we're playing MTGGoldfish's Infinite Scepter in Modern against Jeskai Nahiri, who is trying to burn us out. Opponent pitches a Through the Breach. Move counters from Surge Node to Surge Node. Oh, I'm going to do it now. The only way this goes wrong is if we get stifled. I'm going to put one on Pentad Prism, just for extra actual mana. Charge counter on Pentad Prism. We draw another Energy Chamber. Well, if we ever draw another Whir for Invention, we're going to be in an amazing place. Welcome to the Kano Biweekly Puntathon, where the low-quality trolls hang. I really like that, Oz. I can't express to you, actually, how much I enjoy that you came up with that. Because, like, it's really incredibly true. Like... Alright. Pentad Prism, Surge Node. No, he wasn't recently retconned to be Tarkir, because Ugin was retconned to be from Dominaria. They still are from Dominaria. Alright, Thirst for Knowledge. Another counter. Opponent has a Remand. Thirst for Knowledge. Opponent has a remand. Okay, Thirst for Knowledge. Drop Surge Node. Play Tar Pit. Pass the turn. Yeah, didn't you read Ugin was retconned to be Nicol Bolas's literal twin brother, as in born in the same freaking egg from him? Opponent Snapcasters targeting through the breach. It's a little weird. Interesting that he didn't just target Bolt and try and kill us. Oh, he had a Bolt. On a Bolts. Well, I guess we were, though I don't think there's anything we can actually get that saves us here. We can whir for Metamorph. We have no Fatal Pushes or mana. So, yep, opponent gets us. Bridge would have saved me. Okay, we're going to make some adjustments to this list. I like the list. I like that it's focused. However, that's been like 3 separate times where Ensnaring Bridge would have killed our opponent. So we're bringing in a bridge, we're dropping a Power Conduit. Power Conduit being our worst... No, hang on 1 second. I'll find the official link for you real fast. It's actually on top of... You can find it if you... Oh, shoot. If you go here, you might have to go to Magic's archive, but you can find almost all of them in this location. The most recent ones for the most recent plane for sure, but the rest are available there. I do like reading them, by the way. They're really fun when I'm on the treadmill and walking to try and lose some fat. Okay. So Ensnaring Bridge, definitely coming in. I said I wanted at least one Core Tapper, because the ability to sacrifice for 2 charge counters is really important. I'm going to drop the other Power Conduit for that. Now, there was one other card I know for a fact we were discussing adding to this deck that I really liked. I don't know that we need a Quicksilver Fountain in this deck. Quicksilver Fountain is janky enough to deserve its own deck, not to be a tumor stapled onto the side of this one. We need to make it its own cancer. Keep the fat, it's healthy, unless it's under the muscle and around the organs. Most of my body fat is actually in my gut. Also, I have good news. This Friday, I am ordering a new green screen, a new mic, and a new camera. So the quality of the stream is just going to go nothing but up. There's one thing that's little. Phoenix's opinion of me. Bone Daddy was unfortunately taken, Phoenix. I tried. Damn. That is unfortunate. We're going to keep this hand. I funded all of it. Great Bone Daddy has made a generous contribution to this channel. It appears as though we are against slivers. So we are going to start with Surge Node. Pass the turn. I was going to say patience for intolerant people. That's also fair. Streaming equipment is some of the most fun to buy. I agree. I also need to get some new monitors because right now I'm running on like ancient tiny monitors. gonna bring in the wrong type of people if your production quality goes up. You mean like I'm not gonna get low quality trolls anymore? A thick contribution with 2 C's. Let's see. Polluted Delta. Okay, Polluted Delta is pretty good here. Fetch with Polluted Delta, we're going to get an island and Pentad Prism. Pass the turn. I'm leaving if the quality gets any better. We're gonna chase away the low quality trolls. I don't know if I say this often enough, but I fucking love my chat. You guys are great. Like, I enjoy, like, being entertaining, and it's okay for me to be the target of the jokes here. You're all wonderful. You'll miss this when it gets bigger. Need a new Switch game suggestions? Brawl is good. That's obvious. Let's see. Oh, the new Super Mario Party is actually pretty great. But what is the game? There is a Battle Chef game. I cannot for the life of me remember it. I watched my roommate play it, and it was honestly one of the most entertaining things. It's an RPG plus like cooking thing for Switch. I really enjoyed it. It's super weird, but I enjoyed it a lot. The future chat will never know the joy of they can't have the 4th trap. That's true. Don't worry, low quality troll chat. We have skeleton army subs that will stand strong. You guys are fantastic. Never change, chat. All right, we're gonna opt. We're gonna get a creeping tar pit, and we're gonna cast a surge node. We're really, really gonna need like a bridge. Battle Chef Brigade, that's the one. Thank you, Great Bone Daddy. Are we dead? We're dead. Never mind. Well, the next card down wouldn't have gotten us bridge anyway. We would have been 1 mana off. However, okay, we're gonna bring in the Phyrexian Scriptures, the cast downs, the spell snares, and you always have the 4th insert random hoser? Yeah, I agree. We were 1 mana off because we played a tap land. If we had not had a tap land, then yes, I would agree. At least, that's how I remember the math. Jesus H. Christ, you're right. I am so sorry, everyone. That was a punt. Okay, we're going to drop a Phyrexian Metamorph. We're going to drop a Karn. We're going to go down slivers. We're always dead to lightning bolt. I mean slivers. We're going to go down some of our worse artifacts here. We're going to kind of trim everything just a little bit. I don't think we're actually going to run Lux Cannon. Legit just had to count to 6 Kano. That's fair. You're right. You got me. We'll cut 1 more off. Try it like this. We'll play first. Alright, Surge Node into Pentad Prism into Phyrexian Scriptures into Whir is really good. We need Wizard Cycling? I don't know that we need Wizard Cycling. Alright, who in chat's excited for Modern Horizons, by the way? Because I'm excited for Modern Horizons. If I didn't like this shirt so much, I would tear it off while screaming, yes, Modern Horizons. Play Pentad Prism, 2 counters, pass the turn. We need Traxos the Kruganator. Echoing Truth might be good. Echoing Truth is a little bit hit or miss. It depends on if they play a bunch of the same Muscle Sliver, then yes, it's amazing. But if they don't, it's going to be a little questionable. Opponent plays a Mana Weft Sliver. So we're going to play an untapped Watery Grave and a Surge Node, and we are going to whir for bridge. What else is in it besides the Cabal Therapist? Right now, we only know 2 cards. I know. Activate Surge with Prism to put a counter back on Prism. But then we lose. I would do it, but it's a net loss. All right. Here we go. Get bridge. Untap. Draw Drowned Catacomb. Play Drowned Catacomb. Pass the turn. And now we can whir for a Metamorph to get a second bridge out just in case. It's almost like we could have done that last game. I don't know what you're talking about. Watch this instantly get Harmonic Slivered. We'll make a copy in response. It'll be okay. Oh my god. How dare you all be right? Don't worry, they won't have another sliver. Oh, that's right. Make another bridge. But if he plays any sliver, he's going to vial one in. What am I talking about? It's all part of the plan. Question mark. It really sounds like they're trying to soak some of the cash out of the modern market to me. Not only do we get the standard sets, but not these special sets, too. Decks like yours are the bane of my existence. I just love not being able to attack. XOXO, don't change. It means very versatile. Jesus H. Christ, how horrifying. The problem is this doesn't even wrath the board, let alone I think we're actually dead. We're at 1. We're dead to slivers. Oh, man. In retrospect, we might have wanted Unmoored Ego. That's true. I will remember that the next time I play against slivers. Question mark. Just happy we don't have to have the standard mark of approval for modern cards. Me too. I like the fact that there's another avenue for cards to get into modern. The meat hooks take it again. Yes, they do. I don't want to play against them again, so I'm like waiting to hit submit on this too, man. Is that who I just played against? I don't know. We're going to find out. I like slivers too. That's another deck I want to play sometime soon. Hey, this opening hand has bridge. Guess we'll keep. Opponent mulligan, that's good news for us. Are we going to play something with Arkham Dagson and Sai? You got a list? Ooh. My back has been a little extra poppy. I pulled 475 for 5 reps, 2 sets, yesterday. I'm very proud of myself today. I think instead of banning, they're going to put in more fixers that make it more legacy-like. Whatever happens, whatever they print, whatever they add, I don't care what it is. If it slows the format down, I'm in favor of it. If they intend to slow the format down and they speed it up, I'm going to hate it. So play an Energy Chamber. Was that side deck that I was playing that sucked? That's fair. I don't think it's going to be more Legacy-like, but I do think they're going to push for mid-range lists. The new set is Vintage and Legacy legal. Yes, it is. It will be Vintage and Legacy legal. Opponent has a Wayward Sword Tooth. Well, put a charge counter on Energy Chamber, I guess. We draw Whir of Invention. Play Whir of Invention. Play Ensnaring Bridge so we don't get prime-timed. The death, anyway. Legacy and Vintage are slower right now because of, at least from my understanding, they have more degenerate decks, but they have much more powerful answers. When do spoilers start up? I don't expect spoilers to start up until after the spoilers for War. And War's release date, I think, is actually my birthday. I think it's actually the 27th of April. So by the end of this month, War spoilers will start, and probably by the end of April, we will get spoilers for the modern set here. Okay, play Karn. Minus Karn. Make a Karn struct. Pass the turn. Wish they didn't push for mid-range piles. See, the reason I want the format to slow down, and mid-range would technically slow the format down. Dude, my birthday isn't until 12 plus 27 days, or 12 plus 30 days from now. 14 plus 30 days from now. Excuse me, I can't math. It's not yet! What are you guys talking about? My birthday isn't for a month and 15 days. Play an island. Play an energy chamber. Minus Karn, make a Karn struct. I'm okay with more mid-range decks. I'm actually okay with more mid-range piles. I am really excited because mid-range starts to enable strategies like Pox. That's not what it means. Opponent plays an Azusa. So we are going to whir for Magistrate's Scepter. Untap. Charge counter on Scepter. Charge counter on Scepter. Can we save targets and always yield? Sweet. It's not my birthday! You people are very strange. I mean, you're all wonderful, but you're very strange. Play Tar Pit, take an extra turn. Now we're taking an extra turn every turn, so our opponent gives us the Time Vault kill. Sweet. Alright. This is best meme. It's not my birthday. It's not my birthday! Oh my god. Lux Cannon, Damping Sphere are going to be real good. I think we'll bring in some Cast Downs and Unmoored Egos. Happy birthday, I hope for no mana screw. Oh my gosh. We're gonna cut an opt. We're gonna cut shoot, what do we cut here? We're gonna cut a Thirst. Do we cut a Karn? I don't know if we cut Karn. What do I wish for, little Kano? Magic Gods, I wish for... I just want a top deck Terminus. Kano playing Battle of Wits. I just want a top deck Terminus, Mom. Hopefully our opponent doesn't read cards as much as we don't. Oh my god. Oh yes, I remember that moment. I will never actually forget that moment. That was wonderful. I'm gonna cut a Surge Node, a Pentad Prism. Maybe we don't need 2 Unmoored Ego. I think we only actually have the one quote. Just gonna hit you with the good luck, have fun. Thanks for the stream. I have to go to bed like a weeble. All right, no worries, Basic Land Shark. Thank you for stopping by. You're a wonderful human being. I appreciate it. We only have the one quote right now. It's one quote out of one. Nobody uses the quote command other than Rail-in that one time. We'll cut another opt. Run it back like this. It is not Kano's birthday! Oh, Damping Sphere. Turn 2. Seems good. It is a good quote because it summarizes this stream. I don't think I've said anything more true than that. Oh, ouch. Ooh, ouch. I'm going to have to go to the chiropractor soon if that keeps up. Alright. If we draw a swamp or a watery grave, we'll start that untapped. Otherwise, we're going to start... Well, alright, cool. Start watery grave, pass the turn. Just in case we need to kill a Sakura Tribe Scout. Someone could call Naruto. He's trying to kill Sakura. Oh gosh. Opponent Vesuva's a gemstone mine. Interesting. Play an island. Let's go for Damping Sphere. Let's get this down as good and quickly as possible. Hopefully it doesn't get immediately Nature's Claimed into like the combo kill. Grove of the Burn Willows. Is this an Asuza coming up? Transmutes Talaria West for a Walking Ballista. Well, Fatal Push will kill that. We draw Cast Down, also decent. Play Drowned Catacomb, pass the turn. Hold up Whir for Surge Node or Thirst for something. When it plays a Cavern, what would you like in Horizon's Great Bone Daddy? I want Pox, actually. I want straight up Pox. Great Bone Titan. Opponent is gracious enough to give us a life and take it away and give it back. Oh wait, no. Just gracious enough to give it and take it. Asuza, lost but seeking. Alright, let's Thirst. We will discard an artifact. Untap. Yeah, Pox is 1/3 of everything. Let's play Watery Grave untapped and a Surge Node. Pox is the devil. You want Blight? I'm actually not familiar with that card. Unless I'm thinking of... Unless that's the shortened name for something. Delver's going to get so good with Horizons calling it. Well, most Legacy cards we imagine are good in Delver. I mean, most notable Legacy cards, that is. When Enchanted Land becomes tapped, destroy it. That's cool. Rex Sage. If they target the Damping Sphere, we're going to cast down this Azusa. Cool. We could whir for another... We only have the one. Otherwise I would. We can't whir for a Metamorph either. We don't have enough. Oh shoot, non-legendary. Non-legendary, you're right. Okay, we'll let them shoot Damping Sphere, and then we will push Azusa. Okay. Untap, we draw. Polluted Delta. Play Creeping Tar Pit, pass the turn. Gonna wait one more turn on this whir if we can, so we can whir for the Scepter. Or maybe I guess we could get Bridge. Mono black land destruction needs to be a thing again. Needs is a strong word, but that is something Kano wants.
Thing is a strong word.
We get a Core Tapper. So play Polluted Delta. Let's Core Tapper. Pass the turn. There's already Ponza and Mono Green. How many more land destruction decks do we need? I want Pox to be a land destruction deck. Yeah, but those suck. Ooh, boy. Turn 1, exile Simian Spirit Guide and crack the earth to Diabolic Edict, targeting your opponent's lands. Alright, opponent plays Azusa, Lost but Seeking. They picked up their Vesuva. Alright. Untap Groll Turf. Float mana. Bounce Groll Turf. Play Groll Turf. Untap Groll Turf. Play... Okay. Bounce Groll Turf. Alright, later Phoenix. Thanks for stopping by. This stream's been a lot of fun, so I appreciate it. Wayward Swordtooth. Groll Turf. Gonna untap Groll Turf. Float mana. Bounce Groll Turf. Ballista on 2. Fetch Polluted Delta. Get an island. Whir of Invention. Get Scepter. Ballista resolves. If they don't immediately shoot Core Tapper, okay, cool. Sack Core Tapper, put counters on Scepter. Remember playing with Blight and Sinkhole? Oh, the salt. Yeah, it was probably a rain of salt. Did you see what I did there? Opponent attacks for 2, we go to 11. Untap, we draw. Lux Cannon. Yeah! I don't know if my roommate was picked up on the mic, but I said Lux Cannon and my roommate was like, what the fuck are you playing?
Core Tappers and Lux Cannons?
Core Tappers and Lux Cannons.
No way this is appropriate.
Charge counter on Lux Cannon. Charge counter on Magistrate Scepter. Take an extra turn. Untap. Give him the chair. Energy Chamber. Alright. Play Tar Pit. Play Energy Chamber. Let's see. We probably have to cast down something here. Unfortunately, we can't cast down Azusa. We might have to save it in case our opponent plays a Primeval Titan, because that would be the cast down target. We can do everything we want to do here at instant speed, so we're just going to pass. Not quite yet, no. We're really close to the hard lock. Opponent bounces, Growl Turf. Primeval Titan. Shoot, Primeval Titan. The flip card that counters the first spell of the turn, and the guy that only lets you cast one spell a turn. Eidolon of Rhetoric and Arayo Soritami Ascendant. Those are the two cards. I mean, I really like that deck. Opponent going to bounce Tolaria West to transmute for something. I mean, it is a really good hard lock. I just don't know if... there's been attempts to do it in Modern. The cards are legal. Perhaps I got too eager with the cast down. Counter on Ballista. Rule of Law and Knowledge Pool is probably easier. We have no extra way to generate mana. We cannot animate this Creeping Tar Pit. We're taking... Dang it. Lavinia and Knowledge Pool is funnier? I agree. That sounds hilarious, actually. Dang it. Yeah, we're actually just dead. We can't get 3 charge counters on Lux Cannon. Alright. Next game. Alright. So, how do we want to adjust the deck list? Oh man, that's a good idea. Lavinia plus Omen Machine. That's how we break the symmetry there. I want to do that. So, Lavinia plus Omen Machine, Choke plus Quicksilver Fountain. What other decks do we need to brew? I think we're going to keep the setup as is right now. I mean, I'm down to play it. I just need a list. That can be a deck I can brew up tomorrow and we can play Friday. There will be no stream this Sunday, by the way. I have a concert I need to attend. So we're going to stream on Friday this week instead of Sunday, for anybody that's relevant to. Shitty Lavinia pile sounds like a vintage deck. We'll play first. Alright, we got to push. We'll keep. Opponent mulligans to 6. Is that the technical name of the deck or working title? We'll go with Lavinia Pile, I think. Start Dark Slick Shores, pass the turn. I got a feeling there's a scout I need to kill. Nope. All right. Polluted Delta number 2. Fetch with Polluted Delta. We're going to get an island and play Core Tapper. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Simic Growth Chamber. Going to bounce Stellaria West. How do we keep from getting run over before our lock is established? Well, we're going to be Omen machining, so we're going to be casting a bunch of stuff for free. Not entirely sure how that plays into the game plan. Play Polluted Delta, just in case we need to push a Azusa this turn. We're not going to attack for 1. We don't need that damage. He says because he clicks through the turn too fast. Opponent plays a Forest. It's an Azusa. Opponent plays a Gemstone Mine. Ancient Stirrings. Alright. Time to kill Azusa. Fetch up a swamp. Sparta kick the girl. Ancient Stirrings resolves, revealing Walking Ballista. We untap, we draw Drowned Catacomb. Play Drowned Catacomb. Plus Karn. Revealing Watery Grave and Damping Sphere. Opponent gives us Watery Grave. Attack for 1. But the players can't draw, like, Lavinia, Azorius Renegade plus Omen Machine. I am down. That sounds really fun. Opponent Vesuvas, copying Swamp. They probably just Walking Ballista on 2 here. Which kind of sucks, because we do lose Core Tapper to that, but... Oh, Sword Tooth. Okay. That sounds like Kano Jank to me. I'm glad, because it sounds awesome. Okay, we draw Polluted Delta. We can minus Karn to get Damping Sphere here. But our opponent probably has a way, or like a Rex Sage, to deal with that. I got a feeling. I think I'm going to Thirst before I do anything else. Let's Thirst. We will discard 2 lands. Let's get rid of Polluted Delta and Watery Grave. Play an island. Let's go ahead and Pentad Prism. Counter on Pentad Prism. Play Magistrate Scepter. And we're going to make a Karn Struck to block. Now we're in a good place. Unless our opponent does something that just immediately kills us. Opponent abrades the Scepter. Sad face. Okay, Scepter down. 4 mana. Ballista X2. Passes. We draw. Swamp. Play a Swamp. Minus Karn. Pick up Damping Sphere. Play Damping Sphere. Pass the turn. We could have attacked with the construct there, I guess. Opponent sacks Gemstone Mine. Transmutes Talaria West. Like it needs to be an Esper deck to get some hand hate into it. I mean, Thoughtseizes sound pretty good in that deck. I'm down for that. I'll get what's left of my brain cells to start brewing that deck. Opponent gets an EE. That's annoying. Sure. Important to note that our opponent does not have the mana to crack Engineered Explosives this turn. So we're going to whir for 3, getting a Magistrate's Scepter. Counter on Scepter. Untap, we draw. Tar Pit. Plus Karn. Revealing Fatal Push and a Dark Slick Shores. Put a counter on Scepter. Put 2 counters on Scepter. Play Tar Pit. Take an extra turn. Attack for 4. I guess we technically missed a damage there. I'm glad you think so, Kevin from Ohio. I really like it too. Untap, we draw. Ensnaring Bridge. Also good. So let's... Darksteel Reactor plus Dismantle is one of my favorite things. And in the energy, yeah, so you double the counters because you can't destroy it, and you put that money counters on it. It's pretty good. Let's -1 Karn. Get Fatal Push. Push the Ballista. Opponent shoots Karn. That's alright. Shoots Karn down to 1. We play Tar Pit. Attack for 4. Opponent is a long way off of getting the Sword Tooth to attack. We're not going to play Ensnaring Bridge because if our opponent has a Rec Sage, we want them to use it on the Scepter, actually. Opponent blows up the 2-drops. Okay. Opponent plays an Asuza. And an Amulet. And they are out of cards. Counter on Scepter. We untap. We draw. Drowned Catacomb. Plus Karn. Revealing Metamorph and Opt. Opponent gives us Opt, which I think was actually the worst of the two. We draw Whir of Invention. Oh, yes. Alright, here we go. Whir for 1. Get Surge Node. Counter on Scepter. Extra turn with Scepter. Play Catacomb. Attack for 3. No bridge? Yeah, we can wait on bridge. I was going to. But that's a good plan. Untap, we draw Watery Grave. Alright. Do we get Metamorph? do we plus Karn? We plus Karn, I believe. That's true. Good thing to remind not sober Kano. Opponent reveals Whir of Invention or Herald of Anguish. They give us Whir. What's left that we can Whir for? What's left that we can Whir for that's good? Question mark. Real fast. We can get a Lux Cannon. That might actually be what I do. Opponent says Herald of Anguish. Didn't think I'd see that card today. Can we just kill our opponent? Animate 2 Tar Pits. Take him to 2. Make him block. Yeah, let's do that. Here I am trying to do fancy things, and I should just be focusing on killing my opponent. Force him to block with Azusa. Winning, that's no fun. Take our opponent to 2. Watery Grave tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent does have exactly enough mana to cast Primeval Titan and attack with it, but I don't think that kills us. If they play Primetime, the opponent draws a Wreck Sage. But that doesn't do it. And we get there. Sweet! Awesome! Finally. Good win with that deck. Good, clean win. And all it took was adding a Core Tapper and an Ensnaring Bridge.